All right, let's talk about something you've probably heard a million times, cryptocurrency. But what is it really? We're going to break it all down in the next 5 minutes.
You've definitely seen the names, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe even Dogecoin. They're all over the place, from the news to your social media feed. They're kind of the rock stars of this whole new world.
So, what's the deal with them? Is this some new kind of futuristic money, a super risky investment, or is it all just hype? Well, if you've been asking those questions, you have come to the right place.
Okay, let's start with the absolute basics. We're going to cut through all the confusing tech speak because at its heart, this whole crypto thing is actually a surprisingly simple idea.
The name itself kind of gives the game away. You've got crypto, which comes from cryptography, the science of making things secret and secure. And then you have currency, which, is just money. So put them together, it's secure, digital money. And I mean all digital. No matter how many shiny pictures of gold bitcoins you see, you can't actually hold one in your hand.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting and different from regular money. If you want to send a friend some cash, you usually have to go through a bank or an app, a middleman. With crypto, you just send it directly from you to them, no one in the middle. That's what people mean when they say it's decentralized. There's no single bank or government in control. This whole thing kicked off back in 2009 with Bitcoin. It was created by this super mysterious person, or maybe a group of people, called Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, nobody really knows who they are. Anyway, the original idea was simple: make it like digital cash. But because its value can jump up and down like crazy, it's become much more of a high-risk, high-reward investment for most people.
But wait a minute. If there's no bank, what stops people from just making stuff up or cheating? How does anyone know a transaction is legit? Great question. The answer is this technology called the blockchain. And I know it sounds super complicated, but stick with me. It's actually not that bad. Honestly, the best way to get it is to picture a shared notebook. Every time someone sends crypto, a new line gets written down. But here's the magic trick. That notebook isn't in just one place. A copy of it is shared across thousands of computers all over the world. So if I tried to go into my copy and write, "Hey, I have 1 million bitcoins now," the whole network would look at my notebook, see it doesn't match everyone else's, and just say, nope. It makes it nearly impossible to cheat.
So here's how a transaction actually happens. First, you decide to send some crypto. That action gets broadcast out to the entire network. Then, all these powerful computers start racing to solve a really complex math puzzle to prove your transaction is valid. The first one to solve it wins and gets to add your transaction along with a bunch of others as a new block onto the chain. And that's how you get the name blockchain. And that whole puzzle-solving race, that has a name. It's called mining. The people running the computers are called miners. So why on earth would they do all this work? Well, they get a reward. The winner gets paid in brand new cryptocurrency. For something like Bitcoin, this is literally how new coins are born and enter circulation. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But let's be real, the reason most of us are curious is the money, right? So let's tackle the big question. Is this a smart investment or just one giant gamble? Let's do a little time travel. Picture this. It's 2016 and you decide to buy 1 Bitcoin. Back then, it would have cost you about $500. Not pocket change for sure, but just hold that number, $500 in your head. Okay, now let's jump back to today. That same single Bitcoin, at its peak in 2024, was worth around $70,000. That's just wild. And that incredible potential for profit is exactly why millions of people have jumped into this space. But, and this is a huge but, it is a two-way street. For every story like that, there's a painful flip side. For example, if you bought Bitcoin when it was flying high in May 2022, just a few months later, you would have lost nearly 2/3 of your money. It can fall just as fast as it can climb. So what's with the wild roller coaster ride? A lot of it is just pure speculation. People betting on where the price will go, driven by hype and, let's face it, panic. One piece of bad news, like a government banning crypto, can send prices into a nosedive overnight. It's a market that runs on emotion.
And the risks aren't just about the price dropping. Get this is a true story. There's a guy who is still trying to convince his city to let him dig up a landfill. Why? Because he accidentally threw out a hard drive with 8,000 bitcoins on it. That's hundreds of millions of dollars. And because there's no bank, there's no "I forgot my password" button, there's no one to call for help. If you lose your access, your crypto is just gone forever.
So after all of that, where does that leave us? What's the final verdict?
Well, like any big new technology, it's complicated. There are some huge positives and some really serious negatives. Let's put them side by side.
All right, so on the plus side, no one bank or government controls it. Anyone with an internet connection can get in. It works 24/7, all around the globe. And of course, there's that potential for massive returns. But on the minus side, it is incredibly volatile. It's been used for illegal activities. The rules around it are still a giant question mark. And yeah, scams are everywhere with basically zero protection if you get hit. So we're back to the big question. Is this the future of finance, or is it just a high-tech casino? The honest answer is nobody knows for sure. The story is still being written day by day. But now you're a lot better equipped to understand it as it all unfolds.